Alright, looks like Christmas came early. We're going to be spending a few days in Brimstone, and our ATV just doesn't have the accessories to spend that much time on the trails, so we did a little shopping. We got a front brush guard, fuel caddy, rear storage rack, fire extinguisher, 2 jerry cans to take on the trails with us, and a cooler for the back. And I bought all of this except the brush guard. CFMoto saw my last video where I put in the door inserts and the window nuts, and they reached out and asked if I was interested in trying something else. So they sent me the front brush guard, and I bought the storage rack and everything else. So let's just get into it. Let's just go front to back and start with the brush guard. Okay, first impression, everything looks great. No damage at all in shipping. I don't know yet if I got all the parts, I haven't read the directions. But any of the parts that could have got damaged, these corners, they wrapped them in this foam, which was really nice. So that's going to make sure these things all come without any damage. Okay, step one, we have to remove an existing bracket, but it's behind this guard in front of the winch, so I got to take this off. Okay, with the cover off, we're taking this bracket off right here. Okay, next step, that's the bracket we just took off. Right around the corner, there are 2 more bolts we have to remove. These ones were 10 millimeter, these ones are 14 millimeter. Alright, next step. We put one of their new brackets into those holes and just lightly screw that in. There are 2 brackets, a left and a right. You want it so the bracket's facing up towards the front. And if you check out the other one, it's facing down. That's not going to work. Make it like that with the tube on the bottom. Alright, next step is to actually assemble all the brush guard. Put all these pieces together. Well, we got one defect, minor so far. This got bent. It's supposed to be a circle, which means this piece doesn't fit in there. So I got to find something to get that bent back. I really like that these are locking nuts. It means these aren't going to come out just from all the vibration of driving this around. It's a good addition. Well, I missed where it said repeat steps 1 through 3 on the other side. So that's what we're going to do. Take this bracket off, take these bolts out, and put that bracket there. And the instructions do say this. It's important not to take both sides off at once. You want to take the one side off, then put this bracket on, then do the other side. Because otherwise you are unscrewing the whole winch and it'll just fall off. And my winch did shift back a little bit, so that makes the holes not aligned, so this is a little bit challenging. Alright, next step. We get to slide this on to those supports. These down here slide right onto these. And then we screw it there. The instructions said to put these on loose because we got to wiggle this on there. Got another little defect here. There is no way that this is going to fit in there. That is just a little too small. I don't have anything to make that hole bigger, but I do have something where I can make this stud smaller. Yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. Even after removing this much material, these just do not slide together. Alright, finally got it. That took a lot of grinding. These things were really far from fitting. But now I can get the screw through there, so I can put this back on the ATV and try again. Alright, so these brackets don't go back on because this replaces the original plastic brush guard that we took off when we first started, so that doesn't go back on. Alright, there it is. These last pieces here took a little bit of persuasion. I just put a clamp on to pull them together so I can get the screw through. But I think this looks really nice. It is very sturdy. I like that it provides us some more protection. I mean, the radiator's right here. These are just plastic, so any big limbs or anything like that are gonna get caught by this thing. So yeah, besides that one piece that took all the grinding, this went together pretty smooth. We'll give it a good test drive on the trails, see if it does its job. So far, I like it a lot. Okay, it's the next day, another hot, humid day out here. Time to move to the back of the ATV, where we're going to put the storage rack on. Should raise this up, give us a lot more room to store stuff. I will say one of my complaints about the CFMoto is this plastic catches a lot of leaves and stuff. It's really hard to clean out, but I don't know. Maybe the instructions will have us take this off, give me a chance to clean it up. So let's open it up, see what we got. Alright, first off, packaging is a little rough. These have poked through. The box is all taped up. So it didn't handle shipping very well, but let's hope it's not damaged. Alright, things look pretty good once I opened it up. A little bit of damage on the paint from where these were sticking out, but they probably won't show up. I bought this from CFMoto, same company I got the brush guard and my door inserts and my window nets from, and so far I've had pretty good success with them. It looks pretty neat. Alright, looks like just 3 pieces, a left, a right, and then the center that goes in the back. Not a ton of fasteners, so hopefully this goes on pretty easy. Alright, step 1 is to just attach the 3 pieces together. Alright, very nice, they all fit. Locking nuts again. I like the locking nuts. You know, these ATVs get a lot of vibration. Regular old nuts would just eventually loosen themselves up, so I like when these come with locking nuts. Alright, next step, we take out these bolts that hold the current rack on. And the new one bolts in the same holes. There's one there, one underneath here, and it's way down in there, so you'll need something that can reach down in there. And then one in this corner. Alright, now we just set this on top and bolt it through the original holes. Well, one thing I noticed is I can't get the rack to go this way far enough to really line up with this hole. It's because it's hitting these nuts. So I think what I have to do is flip these around so the nut's on the outside, because this is a little shallower, and it'll let it move forward just a little bit more. That might work. Alright, here's where I'm currently at. I had to take these covers off because these were right up against him and it didn't give him much wiggle room. So I was able to get this one in. I was able to get this one over here in. Again, taking this cover off, give this a little more room to work around. But where I'm currently stuck is right here. You can see we're pretty far off. And this does not move at all. So I don't know what I'm going to do to get that bent in place. Yeah, so far this has been really frustrating, and I don't even think it's CFMoto's fault. Like that stud back there was at such a bad angle that this whole thing had to be twisted around to get it. So I just think the mounting brackets are a little bit wonky, but it could be a combination of both. So that's my next thing. I got to figure out how to get this twisted in place so I can actually get a bolt through that. Well, I'm definitely at a sticking point now. I can't move this any more that way because I'm hitting here and I'm hitting here. So I guess some advice for CFMoto is to add a lot more tolerance to these mounting points, because there was just, I mean, I'm touching here, there's just no way this was ever going to line up. So make your holes bigger. Okay, here's where we're at. So since those holes weren't lined up, I cross-threaded the stud here pretty bad, or the nut. So I took everything off so I can get a little easier access to it. Did give me a chance to clean this up. It's just so much mud and stuff gets stuck under that. So I was able to, drive one of these bolts up and down a few times, get those rethreaded. So now I think we can try to put all this back together. I'm going to leave some of the mounting points a little bit loose. Hopefully that gives me enough tolerance now to finally get everything lined up. Alright, gotta put this back together. Okay, we're getting closer. This has been a nightmare. So to get this whole line back up, it was too far forward once these were in. I've gone ahead and attached the strap and cranked it down, attached to a concrete block over there. And now I got the whole line back up. So I think the strap works out pretty well, but honestly, it's not even CFMoto's fault. When I took all this off, just trying to get it back on, none of the holes really lined up again, so CFMoto's to blame a little bit. CFMoto needs a little bit of tolerance added. This has been one of the most challenging accessories I have ever installed. Well, finally, we got this back on. That took me almost 5 hours to do. I think the trick in then was the ratchet straps. I pulled one from up here to help move this side forward, and then had to pull twice back here to move this side back, and then to get that center hole lined up, I pulled everything back here. That ended up being the good trick. But yeah, man, this was a chore. Now that it's on, I think it looks great. And yeah, time for the next accessory, which is hopefully some small jerry cans. attach to that. That's why I got this. We can attach some stuff to the outside, better storage inside. So let's check those out. Alright, we got 2 small jerry cans from Vevor. Bought these to attach to the storage rack. That way if we're on the trail and we need some fuel, we've got a little bit with us. These are each 5 liter. We'll attach 2 of them to the ATV. Well, those are adorable. Alright, first impression. They feel really nice. Really nice plastic. They got a good weight to them. These ones have a lock and then a mounting bracket designed to mount on tube steel. So we're going to mount it to that storage rack. See if we can figure that out. Okay, these things work with a mounting bracket on the back, a lock on the front, and to take it off, that gets attached to the ATV. This gets unlocked and you can unscrew that and take the whole jerry can off and use it. So we need to unlock this, get it removed so we can access the bracket. I was thinking originally I wanted it on the outside so I can get a little more storage space, but I think that could be a problem for limbs and stuff. I don't want stuff coming through here hitting this. You know, if a big enough limb comes, it could break this off. So I'm going to go on the inside. I already checked the cooler we want to put here still fits. So this bracket, it goes horizontal. It's on there really good. There it is. I was a little concerned about how stable this was going to be, but it doesn't really move at all. So I thought maybe this would just kind of eventually twist, kind of fall down, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Well, it looks great. Now we just got another one for the other side. There they both are. Well, they don't hold a lot of fuel, but if you find yourself you've accidentally driven a little too far from civilization, they can certainly get you out of a bind. I did want to move the bracket back from that, and then, you know, just forgot to realize the fuel can was going to block it. So let's get the cooler in there and see how it needs a strap, and I may have to move these back a little bit just to make some room here for some straps. Yeah, with the cooler in there, I think these need to move up a little bit. Well, because the strap catches here, which is a really good spot for right here, but that's going to block it. So I'm going to go ahead and move these this way, probably right to the end. I really like these Arctic coolers. We bought a bigger one, we've used it for years, and it's just like a more cost-effective Yeti. Does the exact same thing, a little bit cheaper. We've been really happy with it. So we got a smaller one for the ATV. Next up, fire extinguisher. Another thing you're gonna wish you really had if you need it. I think what I'm gonna do is put it right here. I don't yet know how I'm going to attach it. I might just drill right through the rack, and then it's got some mounting holes, and just put some small bolts through that. I just put a couple of bolts through that, just from some assorted set I had. And I'm gonna go in these holes. is. It's got its own little bracket. These are... Whoa, what happened? Oh, my screw heads stick out too far. Oh no. I guess it's okay, it just doesn't seat in the bottom, but it's still gripped by both of these. We'll live with that. I don't think it'll go anywhere. And so I just bolted it right through the bracket. Right. Put the fuel can back on. We're not going to travel with the cooler up here. We'll put it in the Jeep. But I think we're ready to load up. Alright, I got one more piece of kit before we load up. That is fuel caddy. I don't want to have to drive the ATV to a gas station or deal with like 5-gallon jugs. So got this, I think it's 16 gallons. I'm going to strap it right to the front. That way at the end of every night I can top off the ATV and then just throw this in a Jeep, fill it up at a gas station. This one had a little bit of damage in shipping. Little part sticking out there. Hopefully it's alright. A lot more assembly than I expected. It's so dang hot out here, the camera shut off, but I got the rest of it installed. It's just a matter of screwing in these fittings here and then hose clamping the hoses on. The long one to fill up, and then there's a short one down here. One down here, it goes up here. And then the last step is to put this handle on. And then we can strap to the trailer, fill it up, see if it leaks. All right, we made it to our cabin in Brimstone. Filled up the Caddy. I just put this in the back of the Jeep, filled it up at a gas station. And it takes 2 people to put it back on the ground. But it's not leaking anywhere, which is great. So let's fill up the buggy. There's a little screw thing right here for a vent. So before you start filling up, you got to unscrew that. Not the whole cap. There's a little thing inside it that unscrews as an air vent. Okay, first thing I messed up. There is a ball valve down here. At the very bottom, you got to open it so fuel actually flows. That moves a lot of fuel.
Okay, final thoughts. First up, the CFMoto did great on this trip. This front brush guard, no problems at all. The Brimstone area did have a ton of rain and storms before we got there, and we did have to drive over some trees, and I'm really glad we did install this brush guard. So if you're looking for one, highly recommend this one. It worked out great. Now we did bend the rear storage rack, but that's because we might have tipped the ATV. I'm showing here the difference in gap on the right and left side, and you can kind of see where it was bent. I don't think this is going to be very hard to bend back, so not a big deal. It also fell directly on one of the mounts for the jerry can, and it survived just fine. Nothing broke, both cans and the cooler all stayed attached. So all in all, it was a great trip. Really glad we installed these accessories. It made it really easy to stay out all day. We had a ton of fun, and we are really looking forward to the next trip. All right, see you next time.